time.
You got a chance to look at my resume?
Yes, I did. Not that it took me all that long. Have a seat.
Thanks. Well, no, I guess working for the high school paper isn't exactly hardcore experience.
Oh, well, it's a start. Besides, if I hire somebody as an intern, I'm looking for somebody to train, not an old pro.
Does that mean I got the job?
Let me have your application. You know, if I don't officially notarize these, the people in personnel give me dirty looks.
Hey, I really appreciate this.
Pete, your father was a great newsman. I can only hope that it runs in the family. Walt McGovern. Approved, part-time.
Part-time?
Well, Peter, you're a full-time student. You don't want to put in 40 hours a week here, too, do you?
I think I can handle it.
You must have lost big on the Redskins last week.
No, sir. I'm gonna get married real soon.
Well, you're a bigger gambler than I thought.
So, Vicky, what can I do for you?
I have a pretty big favor to ask of you.
Yeah? Wait a minute. I know what it is. You want me to see if I can get your hours reduced at the campaign headquarters so that you can spend more time with Peter, huh?
Something like that.
Really?
Actually, it's a little more drastic. Mr. Webster, is there any possibility of you being able to transfer me to another job for the remainder of my parole?
You want to get transferred to another office campaign downtown
No,
branch?
No, I mean off of Lee Carruthers' campaign and out of Kingsley.
You want me to see if I can get you transferred to a new job completely out of Lee's campaign?
Well, the campaign is running down, and they're not going to need me after the election.
Oh, gosh, Vicky, that's like saying there's not but a couple of weeks left till Christmas, so why bother to go Christmas shopping? Vicky, this is the most critical time of the campaign.
And if you happen to be a fan of Lee Carruthers, I suppose that means something.
Oh, I take it that you're not.
Well, let's just say politics is pretty dirty from the inside.
You know something about Lee Carruthers that I ought to know?
Oh, Mr. Webster, look, I've worked for hundreds of difficult bosses. That's not really the point.
Well, Vicky, you're getting invaluable experience here. I realize that the campaign, the election, is just a short time away, but if he gets elected, you could be called for further service.
Look, don't you understand? I don't want to have...
Okay. You don't want anything at all to do with it, do you? Why out of town?
Kingsley's not exactly a nest of good memories. Not after the Canterbury and getting imprisoned, losing my professional reputation.
You're really upset about this, aren't you? Oh, my goodness.
What?
That ring. It's one Peter gave you, isn't it?
Yeah, it belonged to his grandmother.
Nora.
Right, he gave it to me a little more than a week ago.
Oh, and could it be that's another reason why Kingsley is so uncomfortable to you now?
Mr. Webster, you know that's not true. Peter's just about the best thing that's ever happened to me. He's the closest friend I've ever had.
That's what that ring's supposed to mean? Friendship?
I can see I'm getting a taste of your best courtroom manner. You switch the subject so easily.
The subject, if I recall, was you're getting transferred out of Lee's campaign, maybe even out of town. Now, I happen to think that that ring has something to do with that. And I'll let you have your secrets. I'll see what I can do about getting you transferred.
And that, Mr. Webster, probably makes you the second best friend I've ever made here.
Well, I'm glad I'm not the first, because I couldn't afford a ring like that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate all you've done for me. Oh, one more thing. This has to be kept a secret from everyone.
Everyone. Well, that's my professional responsibility.
Well, thanks again.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye, Vicky.
Babs, you heard anything about an engagement between Peter and Vicky?
Are you kidding? Terry would never allow that.
Does your mother approve of this impending marriage?
We're still discussing it.
But you're going to go ahead with it regardless.
I think Mom will come around. Vicky's a great girl.
Well, I'm sure she is. Where'd you meet her?
The Office of Planning and Development.
She was one of the replacements when they cleared out the staff.
No, sir. She was one they replaced.
She was mixed up in that Canterbury nonsense?
We're talking about Vicky Lang.
Oh.
With all due respect, sir, I mean, you've been around, you know the justice system, it isn't always perfect.
Don't go for my soft spot, Pete. You know, I happen to be of the opinion that most people get just exactly what they deserve.
Fair enough, yeah. And she's getting me. Hey, that's what she deserves.
Well put. Tell me, what's her official status right now?
She's eligible for parole in a month, and she's on a work program. She works for the Carruthers campaign.
Oh, that's right, that's right. Lee was trying to show the merciful side of his hardline approach to criminals.
Yeah, she's doing real well.
I'm sure she is, but we're not here to interview her, we're here to interview you. I do hope you're going to wait till she's officially paroled before you take your vows.
It's close.
Pete, have you really given this a lot of thought?
Well, I know how this must look from the outside. But from my perspective, it's a little bit different. I really love the girl, Mr. McGovern. I have a lot of confidence in us.
Granted. Granted, but you see, I happen to have both a 19-year-old perspective and a 49-year-old perspective, and you only have one of those. Well, we'll start you part-time and just play it from here from there on.
Okay.
Welcome
great.
aboard.
Thanks a lot. Really.
Sebastian.
Oh, boy. What's broken loose against us now?
Section D, page 2. They're bloodsuckers.
Well, it can't be too damaging. It's on page 2 of Section D.
Well, just read it.
All right, calm down. The circled part here?
No, I want to hear the wrestling card at Kingsley Arena.
Dateline Avalon Springs. One observer noted before the untimely death of Kate Carruthers that this mountainous resort was the perfect place for a political hideaway. Or, better said, Lee and Kate Carruthers weren't the first newlywed couple to have their honeymoon on the rocks.
Just give me 5 minutes with that muckraker in a hideaway.
Okay, just take it easy.
Take it easy? You gonna be easy when that Brubaker comes shuffling in here throwing this in my face?
Oh, come on, Lee. The Kingsley Police Department don't take clues from a scandal sheet.
Oh, but that is a respected newspaper.
No, maybe so, but except this page.
Either you're joking, or Dr. Munson has doubled up your tranquilizers.
Look, this was written by the same woman that wrote that stuff about you and Kate seeing each other months ago. Don't you remember Redland come running up here?
Yeah, and she was right then, too.
How could she be right? You two weren't even at Avalon Springs.
Same difference. And do you not think that some reporter is not going to throw that up in my face the next time I'm interviewed?
Okay, if he does, you tell him the same thing that you told me.
What do you mean?
Bloodsucker. Look, we've got the sympathy factor working for us now, the grieving widower and all that. Now we can point out that the press is kicking you while you're down, and nobody likes the press.
Except the press. The press likes the press. That angle isn't even going to make it into print.
Okay. Then we'll drop it on them at the first live talk show you're on. They can't edit that.
I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm not going to make it.
Well, there's only a few weeks left before the election. You'll get your second win. So let's just forget about page 2 of Section D, okay? You want some real news, you wait till this Friday's headlines.
I'm almost afraid to ask.
Latest poll. That's going to show us if that sympathy angle is still working for us.
Mr. Knight?
In here. You're late.
Well, Sebastian, that's no way to greet a lovely lady.
No, it's the way I can greet all employees at 11:30.
Mr. Knight, I had some personal business. I tried to call you, but I couldn't find you.
There, see?
All right. Okay, I have the revisions for that speech for the Parent-Teacher League.
Yes, sir. I'll type it right away.
Oh, and Vicky, I'll have some more letters to dictate later this afternoon with you.
Yes, sir.
Daddy, you're early.
Yes, I hope that isn't inconvenient.
Oh, no, come on in.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it was very light at work today, but I didn't have time to swing home, so I came directly here.
But Eric isn't even home from school yet, even though he will be shortly.
Oh, well, that's all right. I'll make myself right at home.
Here?
Well, that's just an expression. You look well, Mim.
Well, thank you. I was out job hunting today.
Really?
Yes, now I know what you think of my employment skills.
Mim, when we were working together, you were under the influence of some pretty terrible drugs, and that was certainly no time to measure any working skills that you
Well,
had.
agreed. And as a matter of fact, I did come home with a little bit of good news.
Job?
No, not a job exactly, but a possibility. I had an interview at a place called Kingsley Modeling Associates, and Amber Phillips seemed to like the way I looked.
Well, my daughter a model. Now, I think that's a great compliment.
No, no, Daddy, not a model, just possibly an administrative assistant.
Uh-huh. But I'm sure it pays well.
Well enough to support Eric and me, and we can move out of here eventually.
Mim, there were some decisions that you might have made in your life, and certainly you've had your share of traumatic experiences, too. But you've still got carpenter blood in you, and people are going to notice that in no time at all.
Thank you, but I think your confidence is just a little too late.
Oh.
Got beat up.
Oh, Eric, what happened, honey?
They were bigger than me, too.
Yo, well, who did this?
Tom and John.
Oh, no, well, are you all right?
I guess so.
Look, I can take care of it. And listen, I don't want to hear one word out of
Hear
you about
what?
this.
Hear what?
About how Chesterfield is so bad of an environment for Eric to be in.
Mim, I haven't said a word.
I know you haven't yet, but I know you.
You know, there are bullies in every neighborhood, and he's not hurt too badly at all. But what he needs right now is a bit of comfort. He needs his mother, so go.
Okay, order a case of potato chips for later in the evening. Don't bother with brand names. By midnight, they'll be so drunk they won't know the difference anyway. Rats.
You don't want me to order those for election night, too, do you?
Oh, I guess there are enough rats in politics already, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say so.
No, I was just reconsidering our wisdom of the latest PR work.
May I ask what that is?
Sure. Cases I'd like your opinion on, as a matter of fact. Now, you're aware that Lee's facing a terrible personal strategy, the death of his wife.
Sir,
What?
you said terrible personal strategy?
Well, of course, I meant tragedy. Hang it up, Knight. You're getting old.
Mr. Knight, there wasn't anything you could have done to stop that.
That's right, nothing at all. So now, our only hope is for the electorate to move over to the side of the man who's been hurt the most, to share in his grief and to show that sympathy at the polls.
And that might not happen now?
Well, let me ask you. How sorry do you feel for Lee Carruthers? Both the man and the candidate.
Mr. Knight, I feel very sorry for him. Maybe more than any other man I know.
That's terrific. You're not just saying that now.
Sebastian, if you're quite through with Miss Lang, I have some letters that need to be worked on.
She's all yours. I've got to see about that little stuffer we're sending out.
Oh, good. That should make our business much easier.
want you to meet the first girl you've ever seen that's almost your age.
And Alicia, this is Scott Benjamin Martin.
See?
Uh-oh. He doesn't seem too impressed.
Men, you know, they're just trying to look disinterested.
That's right. You just give him 15 years.
So, Alicia, what are you going to be when you grow up? Are you going to be a singer like your mama?
I think so.
Yeah?
She's been keeping me up every night at 4 in the morning.
Tell me all about it.
I think little Scott is going to go into medicine just like his dad.
So, what makes you say that?
Well, he was casing the hospital from the very moment he was born.
Very funny.
Well, wouldn't you like to have another doctor in the family?
Well, I'll tell you what. If Scotty goes into medicine, at least we'll have one doctor in the family.
I don't follow.
Well, Ben is thinking about dropping his practice altogether.
Well, Father, you were right. He wasn't hurt that much.
Oh, just his pride, I suspect.
Well, quite a few scratches.
Yeah.
But he was more embarrassed that you saw him.
Oh, he shouldn't feel that way at all.
Well, I know, but you tried to tell him that.
You know, Mim, might be a good idea if you enrolled him in a physical education class. It would not only improve his physical coordination, but it might build up his confidence, too.
Okay, we'll see.
I really think you should consider it seriously if you plan to live here. Continue living here.
Well, if and when I get my job, we'll be moving out to a place of our own.
Now, that's good to hear.
As a matter of fact, I've already been looking, but most of the places that I really like are just a little out of my range.
Oh, really? By how much?
Well, one was about $75 more than I can handle, and the other nice apartment complexes said that I couldn't bring any children along.
You know, Mim, I'd be more than happy to help you until you get on your feet.
No, it's okay. I intend to make it on my own, and I really will.
All right, okay. Ah, here he comes. Come on over here and sit by me.
Did get a couple good punches in, Grandpa.
Good for you. I'm glad you did. You know what? I'm going to take you out to dinner tonight. We're going to forget this whole thing.
All right.
Wait a minute. We didn't agree to that.
Come on, Mom.
I'm sorry, Mim. I should have checked with you first.
You certainly should have. Because Eric has homework, and he cannot stay out for dinner.
And that should make the campaign effort a big success. Signed, Cordially Lee.
Just Lee?
Well, Mrs. Henford is a close friend of mine.
I understand.
Do you really?
Sir, is this the last of the letters?
No. There's more, but first I'd like to know what you meant by that sarcasm.
I wasn't being sarcastic.
Oh, but your tone inferred that you understand what it's like to be my close friend.
Look, Mr. Carruthers, I
Vicky,
think...
aren't you tired of running?
Yes, I am very tired of running.
Well, then you ought to try racquetball. It's, gives you the same benefits, but is much less boring.
Excuse me.
Don't leave, Vicky. Peter is on his way up, coming up to see you with a gift. I told him it was all right to meet you here. Lee? Ah, Peter.
Hi.
Hey, that's a very nice present.
Hey, did I miss her?
No, she's in my office.
Oh, good.
And you're just in time.
Thanks. Hard day?
You don't know the half of... Roses.
That's right. I don't want to hear anything like how much.
Peter,
Right?
are you kidding? I know how much a dozen red roses cost. You shouldn't have bought these.
There's more.
What, more flowers?
No. Good news. I got a job. Mr. McGovern's going to hire me as an intern, like a copy boy.
Peter, that's great.
That's it. That's the last step.
For what?
For us. I got an income, you get parole. Why should we wait?
Peter, what do you mean?
To make it official. I'm going to call the Justice of the Peace over in Perrysville.
But it's so soon.
Oh, yeah? So why should we wait? Huh? We're going to get married this Friday.
Ben giving up medicine.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just a phase he's going through. But I just can't believe that God would let him go through 8 years of medical school just to have 2.5 years of practice.
Boy, your Aunt Nancy is really pressing for blood, huh?
Well, she's been a little quieter than usual lately, actually.
But she still wants her settlement from Ben's unauthorized surgery.
Oh, yeah. And Ben does not want to compromise out of court. Oh, Carla, pray for Ben. Pray that he gets rid of this bitterness. I don't want him to ruin his career. Shh, 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 baby. I don't want him to ruin his career just because he's spiteful. I mean, it would ruin all the plans that we've made. Come on, honey. Come on.
I will pray, Lori. But you've got to realize that God has his own plans for you two. And if it doesn't match up to what you thought was coming, then you just got to have the courage to let God win out.
Yeah, but it's God's calling on his life to heal the sick. We both know that.
Oh, come on now. There are more than one kind of sickness in the world and more than one way to heal. You just keep your mind open to the Lord, Lori.
Come on, Mom. I'll do my homework later.
Eric, honey, you have a 3-page report due tomorrow. You haven't even started it.
I'll have him home by
Daddy,
8 o'clock,
please.
Mim.
I'll wake up early tomorrow and do it.
I said you cannot go to dinner with your grandfather now. You still have an hour and a half to spend alone with him.
Eric, why don't you go out and get in the car? I'll be along just a moment. Mim, I think you're doing the right thing.
I don't even want to hear about it. I know exactly what you're trying to do. You're trying to make me look like the heavy.
Now, listen, our visit has been without any arguments so far, so let's not spoil it. Now, I will bring him back in an hour and a half without dinner, just as you ordered it.